So today I just want to make a quick video on how to get yourself motivated to train or exercise on days that you just don't feel like it. Now this can happen to anyone on any given day, no matter if you're only starting into fitness or you've been training for 10 years. Everybody gets those days where they just don't feel like doing anything. You might not have had enough sleep, you might feel completely zapped of energy. There's tons of reasons and excuses really we can tell ourselves on why we don't want to train on a daily basis. But if we're only really trained when we felt motivated, we'd never make the progress or get the results we truly want because of the lack of consistency. So this is where being able to apply discipline over motivation is going to help you push through those mental barriers and go ahead and put in the work anyway. So here I'm just going to go through 3 tips that helps me get my training in on days I don't feel like it, and how you can use these in getting your work done too. So the first thing is making sure you have enough energy to get your training in. So for this, I try to load up on carbs the day before training, and this is especially useful on days I know I won't be as motivated. So say I notice on Mondays I'm not as motivated, I kind of have a motivation lull, and I really don't want to be training. So aside from whatever mindset my mindset is at before going into training, I try to at least make sure I have my nutrition down in terms of loading up on carbs, and that'll give me kind of a physical and mental boost I need to push through and get it done anyway. Now applying this to your process, if you notice on certain days or times of the week that you don't want to train or even want to skip exercise altogether for the day, try to have your nutrition in check, that you're at least giving yourself the right foods that'll give you a boost to fuel you and go ahead and get it done. And you could even have like a free or cheap meal that night or night before and enjoy that, and then use that as a treat to motivate you to go ahead and get your workout done in the next day or whatever on the day. Just make sure you don't go too crazy with the cheap meal, because that kind of defeats the purpose, but you know, just use it as a motivation anyway. And the second thing is I'll have caffeine about maybe 30 to 60 minutes before my training, and that gives me a good mental boost and physical boost. So by the time I'm ready to start my training, I have that nice lift to go and put in the work in anyway. And now this is particularly useful on days where your energy feels zapped, because it gives that quick kick, like relatively quick in kicking in, and it can help you in reducing fatigue and getting your workout in across the line essentially. And the advice I give here is to use caffeine more as a tool. So for me, I'm quite sensitive to caffeine because I don't have it all that often. So when I do have it, it has a big impact. However, if you're using caffeine on a regular basis throughout the day, or you use it more regularly than me, you have coffee or whatever, then you might have to up your caffeine intake around your training times to pick you up off that baseline, so you can feel that kick or that boost to go ahead and do it. So now here you might have something like simple like an extra shot of coffee, but if you're still not feeling it, it could be because you're not sensitive to caffeine. You might have to look further in terms of maybe supplementing caffeine capsules, or maybe a pre-workout if you want to look into that. And experiment with caffeine drinks for like coffee for the first week or 2 until you find the amount that works best for you, and then go from there. And you might have to up the dosage depending on how much you use it. But my only advice is that you don't become overly dependent on caffeine and it becoming the deciding factor of getting your exercise in each week, because then you likely won't be able to accommodate that for your plan for the long term or reach your goals for the long term if you're too dependent on one thing to get you going. And the last thing I do is more of kind of a mental and mindset kind of thing in comparison to something you can kind of feel physiologically, like carb loading or caffeine intake. So for this, I just like to watch motivational videos or listen to clips of high achieving people, especially athletes. I find they're that bit more motivational, and listen to someone talk with authority on how they want to get things done and how they get things done, how they set goals, the approach and attitude they use, and why it means so much to them is a great way of building yourself up to do great things, because you'll likely hear something that resonates with you, and that'll become more of a more centered and focused thing with yourself on why you should go exercise. And because you'll be able to improve yourself and feel that sense of achievement after it, it's definitely worth looking into it. As for sources of people to listen to, there's a ton on YouTube. If you type in motivational videos, David Goggins would be a good one. There's another account called Mateusz M or something. I'll link it in the comments or caption below anyway. But personally, I try to pick a different one every day and have a few favorites I can refer back to, so I can go on those on extra tough days. And the end goal is essentially being able to ramp yourself up enough from watching these that you can go out and carry out meaningful action towards your goals. And you can make it a habit or ritual even by watching a short video before each training session to build you up that positive feedback loop that makes exercise nearly more of a kind of a habit than a motivation. And that's when days when you feel tired or unmotivated nearly become irrelevant, because you're so driven and laser focused on the task at hand that you don't even consider excuses like that anymore. And that essentially covers the 3 things that I would get myself motivated on training on days I don't feel like training. I hope you find value in applying some of them on your own days that you don't feel like training. And also, what methods do you use? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week for another video. Thanks.